Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the Thrive Thursday Everyone Has a Story Author Spotlight Series. Today, I am joined by the author of Chapter 8 and Thrive Thursday Episode 13 guest, Paij Hardy. Number one, Paij, we are so excited to have you here and to go over a little bit about your chapter. And to dive right in, I'm going to take you back to 2020. And, somewhere around Thanksgiving, I reached out to a bunch of people, actually was 60 people to be exact. And I said, I have an idea of putting together a book for Thrive Thursday. Out of those 60 people, only 13 people said yes. And that got me thinking. One, why did you say yes to be part of the project? And two, what do you think holds people back from saying yes to opportunities?
Well, first, I want to thank you, Laura, for having me. This process has been absolutely amazing. And that's part of the reason why I did say yes. I've never been asked to do something like this before. And when the opportunity came, I just opened the door. And I'm one of those people that, I feel like if you don't think the doors are opening for you, build your own door and walk right through. And that's actually a project I'm working on. So, that being in that space where I'm creating a project about that, I was like, who would I be to not open this door that's standing right in front of me? So that's the reason why I said yes. And then secondly, I think most of the time people hold back from, things that come because of the unknown. We live in a time where a lot of things are unknown unless we plan them ourselves. So when there's certain things pop up, it can be scary and it can be, bring anxious and anxiety towards that. So I think a lot of people choose to say no or, shy away from saying yes because of not knowing what's coming.
I agree with you. Going back to build your own door, it's funny that definitely has been my life too. I always said, well, if no one's giving me the opportunity, I better create my own because I can't sit around waiting, to get them. But
absolutely.
The other thing you just said, which I follow a lot too, is who would you be that you're doing projects where you didn't say yes to opportunities? And I think a lot about that too. It's like I do a lot of work with empowerment of young ladies and women in business. And I always say to myself, well, as scary as things are, who would I be to try to lead people if I didn't go through that kind of unknown, right?
Exactly, yes.
Love it. Okay, diving into a little bit about your chapter. What do you think the first step of healing is?
There's so many avenues to go. There's so many awesome first steps. But I personally feel like the best step to take is acknowledging that without the work of what you're going through, it's not going to bring any type of healing or peace. A lot of us have been taught to, kind of just internalize and work things on our own. And sometimes it works for some people, but you have to do what's best for you and kind of acknowledge that I might need support with this, or I might need, a certain way to reach my healing. So I think acknowledging the way that you need it is the best first step.
I think that is so important. It's funny, we all go through seasons, right, and cycles of different things going on in our life. And I think what you just said of just taking a moment and acknowledging it and allowing it to kind of happen, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Sometimes we're like running away, sometimes we're pushing it down, sometimes we're ignoring it,
Right.
And I think you're right. The first step is it's okay to acknowledge it. Now, how you get over it, like you said, may vary depending
Right.
on what it is. But
Correct.
acknowledging it is probably the first step.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Now, you are very tied to dance and you've done
Yes.
some amazing things and you have lots more amazing things coming in your future. But in your opinion, how has dance been therapy for you?
Well, growing up, I was the only child, so I was always alone and, finding ways to entertain myself. And I didn't really have many people to talk to other than my family, of course. So I found that dance brought me a sense of voice, and filled a space where words can't fill the space.
Huh.
I found movement as a way to really communicate, and not even communicate with just my audience, but with myself. I've been in so many productions and so many shows and cast in a lot of different dances, and each time I found that little piece of it that I could relate to myself, and that was just a way for me to reflect. Even as a young kid, before I even knew what that meant, I would use that movement and kind of internalize it and find a way to connect straight to that movement as if that is my way of speaking and talking. So I found that
Wow.
to be really, therapeutic in itself. It's kind of like a personal kinesthetic journal for me is movement. So yeah, that's the way I find it extremely therapeutic.
So even when you were a very young girl, you
Mm-hmm.
could relate and realize like what movement did, like how it changed everything, right?
Yes, yes.
Wow, that is incredible. And it's funny, studies, and you probably know all this information, but there are scientific studies of what movement does for you, like the
Mm-hmm.
actual physical and mental healing that happens just by movement, right? And a lot of
Yes.
us, we think, well, I can't dance. I'm not, that's not my gift to the world, but it doesn't have to
It
be
does, yeah,
something.
it
Yeah,
definitely
it's
doesn't.
just movement, right? Just
Yes, and we
having that.
all have the
Yeah,
ability to find a way to fit the movement to our bodies, whatever your body looks like. And that's what I think makes dance so beautiful. It's not a mold. Anyone could, get out there and connect with music, connect with audiences, connect with your body. So I feel like it's just so therapeutic in so many realms.
absolutely. And listen, just putting on music and feeling that vibration or that
Mm-hmm.
rhythm in your body, right?
Yes,
Whether it's the
yes,
tapping of your foot, whether it's the moving of back and forth, right?
right.
That movement, allow it to happen, right? I mean, don't
Mm-hmm.
you don't you just wish, one day in a magical world, don't you just wish people would just allow themselves to naturally
Yes.
move, right? Like not hold back, right?
Right, but just feel it. Just
Yeah.
whatever your body does, let it do it.
Yes. Could you picture like what a happy world it would be if you just
Yes,
saw people actually like doing that? You
right.
know,
Oh my goodness, that would be
I
awesome.
know, right? We're encourage that page. We're
I
definitely
will.
doing that. All right. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, we can't wait to hear what you've done with dance and healing and combining that. And of course, what you're currently working on in your chapter. All right, Paige, you are awesome. We love hearing from you. One final question that I've been asking all of the Thrive Thursday guests. Okay, we've all gone through lessons in our lives. And I'd like you to share with us what's one lesson that you've learned and a piece of advice you would share with the audience based on that lesson.
I think one of the most influential lessons I've learned when it comes to, life and just processing and navigating is definitely understanding that emotions and trauma is timeless. There's
Mm,
no set time on when it might trigger you, or, when you might meet someone that has experienced the same thing and it might bring up, past feelings. Understanding that everything that happens in your life that has been meant something to you is extremely timeless, and understanding that makes you kind of cognizant about when things do happen to you and you're like, okay, I've been through this before. What have I done, or what could I do? What could I do differently from that time? It's life is just so varying. It's so complex, and so many things happen. And I just really think it's important for, everyone to take that moment and realize that no matter what has happened, it could happen again. But, finding that way to connect from then to now, but also to the future is so important.
So take the lessons that you've learned previously and be able to use that knowledge to navigate the future and take it in stride. Like
Yes.
don't get overwhelmed by that
Right.
again. Like don't look at it as, man, I've already gone through this season. I don't
Right.
want
Like,
to
why
go through
me
this
again?
again.
Why
Right.
is this happening to me again?
Yeah.
And we do have those moments. It's okay
Yeah.
to have that quick moment and acknowledge that, oh crap, this is happening to
Yeah,
me
again.
What am I going to do? But, taking that and putting it to the next step, and then, planning for the future. I think making sure that all of that, bringing all of that together makes one whole experience. And, just living through it is the best way to go.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate that advice. I totally agree. Thank you for being so amazing. And we can't wait to read your chapter, chapter 8. Thank you so much, Paige.
Thank you.